Okay, viewers, thank you for joining us yet again in this discussion. We are still talking about corruption in Nigeria, and I have the same guest, my August guest in July, Michael. So I'd want us to talk about the cost of corruption in Nigeria, and I have broken it down a little bit for, better understanding. I've broken it down to uh, political cost, economic, social, environmental, and okay, maybe we'll stop at that for now. Okay, so let's pick it one by one, Michael. I want you to, just uh, briefly, what do you think, or what to you, when you look at the political cost of corruption in Nigeria? How would you
Well,
describe that?
yeah, thank you very much, and good evening to our viewers out there. Just as a way of previous knowledge, let me say it again that let me define corruption for us again. That corruption is the abuse of public power for private benefits, or rather, in simple language, taking what does not actually belong to you, the commonwealth of all, to your own advantage, and using that to the detriment of others. Now, to go straight to the question, the cost of corruption means, in simple terms, the implications of corruption in our society. It is crystal clear when we look around Nigeria today, all we see is just a marginalized society, a society that has been affected, beaten, and battered as a result of these corrupt practices in our system. Now, when we look at the cost of corruption in our political climate, we can see that Nigeria, as of today, runs the most expensive government in the world. And
Mm.
this is not because the government actors or the political actors they are meeting the basic demands of people. Rather, they are using this in promoting self-image, self-ambition, that of themselves, their political associates, at the detriment of all of us. Now, according to a statement sometimes ago, for you to contest election in Nigeria, a state election, a gubernatorial election in Nigeria, cost nothing less than a 10 billion naira. The reports
Wow.
are there online, you can actually read. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is this: someone who is just coming to serve the people or claiming to serve the people, where will he get 10 billion naira to actually inject into elections? It tells us that somebody somewhere, maybe the political godfather, must have actually negotiated with the contestant that, okay, we support you with this fund, and when you get to office, you actually reimburse this money back to us with the interest on it, because nothing goes for free in this part of the world. So when all these things, these political marketing strategy has actually landed Nigeria in a very pitiable state of underdevelopment that is actually visible in our education industry, in our health industry, in just talk of any industry in Nigeria. And all I'm saying is, I'm saying from practical experiences, as a researcher, I've visited many hospitals in Nigeria, yeah, that has no bed, no
Mm.
mattress for people to actually sleep on. I have seen classrooms under the tree. And of
Wow.
course, those who are abusing our commonwealth, using our commonwealth for political benefits, have their children abroad in the best universities in the world, the Harvard, the Lancaster, the Oxford, and all lots of more. So the cost of implication, I mean, the implication of corruption in our political climate is so enormous, and of course, it will take time for us to get over it. Reason being that the younger generation of Nigerians also have this same mentality that if elections are not monetarized, let me use this language, or commoditized, it is practically impossible for elections to be won. Thank you.
Michael, this is big, okay? So, for instance, if I am contesting for the post of governorship in Ekiti State, then I need as much as 10 billion 10 billion
of
naira.
course, or more.
What is the population of Ekiti State itself?
Well, by assumption, because I
Yeah.
don't have the figures, and I think
Okay.
it
Yeah.
should be less than maybe 4 or 5 million, less than 4 or 5 million.
Okay. So now, do you need this kind of money to rent equipment or to print posters or what? Or is it that
Well,
is it the ones that we see on the social media where people are sharing money or what, or they
I
are,
think
sharing rights?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The large chunk of money in elections in Nigeria goes into vote buying. And there has been reports, according to European Union, the last elections, there are several reports online that you can actually read. So it is not all about the publicity. Of course, to run a campaign is quite expensive in terms of publicity, but the major chunk of money, or the larger percentage of the money during elections, goes into vote buying and a lot of manipulative agenda, so which actually has promoted all lots of evil in the society. So it's that expensive, and that's at the level of Ekiti State. The bigger the state is, the more the money you will need to actually inject into elections or political campaigns. So you
Mhm.
can't be comparing what Ekiti will spend on elections to what Kano, what Lagos, and other states we actually inject to elections. So election is very expensive in this part of the world. And if we don't actually look into how we can reduce the cost or manage or reduce the cost of elections, of course, we'll continue to have the wrong set of people in Nigeria's political environment.
Okay, so Michael, I've noticed that you particularly have been writing about the importance of leadership in a country as per development. All right,
Yeah.
I've noticed you've been doing that in the last 2 or 3 days. Now, if I am spending uh, money as a politician, maybe I'm contesting in Lagos, and I am spending that much money and I'm, buying votes, for instance, it means, see, let's look at the principle of demand and supply. Demand is what moves supply.
Yeah.
So I mean, determines supply. It then means that it is the people that are demanding. Or, I mean, please try to correct me if I am wrong, okay? Is it the people that are demanding or the politicians that are, begging people with money? Which is it?
Well, it's a two-way thing, because money itself is a motivating factor. I hope you know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And for people to be motivated, because people actually have this notion that even if we vote, it doesn't make any difference, because the votes, they know there are things that happens behind the scene that is unknown to the electorate. But what I'm saying in essence is this: both the contestants, the electorate, they are involved in this political commoditization. Permit my English, because election is more like a commoditized item in this part of the world. So people will actually make demand, and when I expect people to make demand during elections is to be that, what do you have for us in terms of social development,
Yeah.
not the money you have to offer at the time of elections. And the political actors equally understand that if money is not given to people, because let me say this, that Nigerians are treated like a naked fowl at the mercy of a farmer for corn. Okay,
Mhm.
Nigerians are like fowl. The farmer already removed the feather meant to cover the skin of the fowl, and that same fowl is still helpless. The fowl still has to come to the naked to the farmer who removed its feather to feed on corn. So that tells us the poverty level in the country, that they use the instrument of poverty to actually affect the populace, so that at the time of elections, that 2,000 naira, that 3,000 naira, we have videos online that we can actually see of what happened during elections in Nigeria. So they just believe that that 2,000 naira, that 3,000 naira, we can actually use it to buy these people over to us or buy these people over for them to vote for us. So that's just it. The people are involved, the political actors are involved.
So which means it will be correct for people like me to say poverty has been weaponized in Nigeria
Of course,
against the people.
it's not only limited to Nigeria alone, it's more like an African thing. Because what is obtainable in Nigeria is practically obtainable in Kenya. If you go to Uganda, Uganda is preparing for presidential election now. You get same reports from Uganda. So poverty is a weapon in the hands of the political actors to actually to be used against, or they are using against the electorate.
Okay, so we are in trouble then. Because
It
see,
is it is not disputable.
so if I'm so poor to the level whereby if you are coming to campaign, in my village or in my community, and I just expect you by all means to bring something, you know, to say what do you have for us? Like I
to
remember in those days, the
to
Nigerian
water the
police
ground.
at the checkpoint, they would always say, "What do you bring for the boys?" You
Yeah.
know, and then when you do not bring anything for the boys, it might turn violent. They might begin to say, "Okay, we want to check your papers, we want to check your vehicles." But ordinarily, if you bring something for the boys, they may not need to check your
Even if you are
particulars.
carrying exhibit.
So now, if we are operating at this level as a people, as a nation, or as a continent, what is the hope that we, the people that are demanding, that we will stop demanding? And the politicians that are giving, what is the hope? Is there any assurance that they might stop bringing?
Yeah, the liberation of any society is dependent on the action of the citizens. Sometimes not on the action of the not in the action of the leaders, but in other clime, it is sometimes dependent on the action of leaders who are ready to actually change the narratives of any society. So, as to whether if the narrative will change is only that can only happen when the people are conscious of the fact that no, they actually need to wake up from their slumber and intentionally and be deliberate about changing the occurrences within the political atmosphere. Those who benefited or who got token during the last elections are now shouting that they have bad roads. Those who collected token or
Hmm.
tokenism spirit during the
Yeah.
last elections are now crying that they never got palliatives from government, though most especially at this time of pandemic. They are shouting that they have poor infrastructural state. Just like you said that it is about the law of demand and supply. It's more like an investment. Somebody who invested about 10, 15 billion naira into elections, do you now
Yeah.
expect the person not to recoup his or her money back? It is practically impossible because
Mhm.
some of them don't have this money. They borrowed it from somewhere or their political godfather sponsored them. So they just have to repay this money back to where they got them from. But the repayment now is at the detriment of the populace, is at the detriment of the electorate. So all we need to do is to change our mind that if this commoditization, or you should I say commercialization of electorate during elections continues, there is practically nothing for us to benefit in the governance environment. So that's just the submission.
Okay, Michael. Now, I want to ask you, as somebody who is been on ground, who has been a researcher and traveling around different communities and inner cities, I want to ask you, what is the atmosphere like? The people, are they angry enough to say enough is enough? Is there any hope that the people are becoming conscious? Are they beginning to say, okay, we've been doing it like this, it is high time we stop? It is high time because see, I am of the opinion that some of these corrupt people, they are not they are not strangers.
Of course, they are in the family
The,
too.
the, the corrupt politicians in Nigeria, they are members of our society. We know them.
Yep.
All right. Some of them have been in business for many years. And on our back, They've been making money, they've been building mansions, they've moved even from the rural areas, they moved to the major cities, and they are, congregating in Abuja right now. And now, are we people, the people, are we becoming awoken, or are we still sleeping? What's your own practical example? I'm not asking for your analysis here. I'm asking, what is the observation, practical
The,
example of what is visible on ground?
the observation so far, based on my experience in the traveling around communities, has been that people have accepted the status quo. Like they are only people are only hoping that okay, with time things may change, but people are not deliberate. People are not willing to take up actions. Nobody wants to know. Nobody wants to demand for accountability or social justice. Nobody wants to ask elected representative questions because they have seen these people as demigods that should not be questioned. So whatever is being given to them, whether 2 cups of rice, whether I want a packet of spaghetti, they are okay with it and they have accepted that. So they rather prefer to continue in that pitiable state for the next couple of years. So people are not taking up actions at all.
Okay, so my final question would be, because I don't want us to make this too long, we are going to, maybe by the next our next broadcast, we'll go to social cost, or economic cost, or environmental cost. So, but for today we are going to end soon. So, but before we go, I'd like to ask you this: the Nigerian people, we the Nigerian people, are we accomplice or victim? When we look at it holistically and sincerely, because we've been blaming these people for many years. I mean, leaders, corrupt politicians, we have been blaming them. But personally, I've been looking beyond, them, because I think these people are from among us. They are not imported from China, right? And they are not Ghanaians. The politicians we have in Nigeria are Nigerians. In fact, if the politicians that are ruling Ekiti are from Ekiti. The politicians that are ruling in Kano, they are from Kano. They are indigenous of Kano. Do you understand? So, and we, the people that are supporting them, that are, they are bringing rice, we are taking. They bring 5,000 during election, we take. Would you say that they are accomplices or victims?
Just let me answer that question simply by saying that we are also co-author of our own misfortune. So it depends on how we want to align my statement, whether as a victim, whether as accomplice. Because one, for you to actually be an accomplice, you must be benefiting from those who are mortgaging the citizens, so to say. And for you to actually be a victim shows that you have not been active enough to actually ask some questions as it pertains to your well-being as a citizen of the society. So it's just simply said that we are co-author of our own misfortune. So whether as an accomplice, whether as a victim, we are also a critical actor in this business, or this unfortunate business.
Hmm. Thank you, Michael. This is interesting. Viewers, thank you for joining us yet again. Don't forget, the platform is open for further discussion on this one, on this top subject. We are going to be bringing you, this is a series that we are taking. So this might take us more of maybe 2 or 3 of these kind of sessions before we are able to get over the subject of corruption. And our aim is to expose things to you. We want people to start talking. We want people to start engaging, because things cannot continue like this. If we continue like this, change may never come in our time, And I don't want to transfer this kind of society to my own children. That's why I am, taking this initiative, and we can all do it together. So please do share our videos And do subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And the name is Opinion Sharers. Michael, thank you for joining me yet again. I want you to please give your final word for just 10 seconds.
The work of liberation begins by talking and followed up by taking action. There is no better time than now in the history of Nigeria than now for us to render our opinion and of course take action constructively as to better our lots and of course make life better for the generation coming after us. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Michael. Thank you so much for coming. We
You're most
really
welcome.
do enjoy this